Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Secondary Heroes podcast. This week, we're starting watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's time for Season 1, Episode 1, New World Order. This is your host, Trevor, and joining me, as usual, is...
Hey, guys, this is Prague.
And that's it. So, luckily, it's just like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's just two, right?
Us, the two of us. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
A buddy cop comedy here. Duo. I like it. All right. This is a definitely a different change of pace for the Marvel MCU. Here we are with two different types of characters. I think this is kind of a fun pivot for, or maybe a palate cleanser, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what your take on the first episode was. Just different.
It's definitely, I mean, I guess I had different expectations also going in of what it was going to be than what it turned out to be. And so,
Sure.
Do we want to start with spoiler free?
Sure. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so my main spoiler free is I'm glad it's only 6 episodes.
Okay. You didn't like it too much, huh? How do I don't know how I liked it. I enjoyed it, I guess, as like something to watch. Like it wasn't like, oh my god, this is like my favorite thing ever, because it's not. It's not like my type of Marvel stuff. I like the more, I don't know, funnier, out there, weird stuff. I like the Wanda type stuff.
Yeah.
But I was surprised at how well it was. Like it felt like it was had a much bigger budget than all the other MCU shows we saw, like on Netflix, for example. So I was impressed by the scale and the budget of the show. So in that respect, yeah, I was able to enjoy the action scenes and such. But it was fine, you know. It was probably more character driven than I was expecting, which is weird. I should have expected it to be character driven. It's a TV show version of these characters, but I thought it was going to be all action and comedy. So I guess that was kind of nice. At least we're going to get some of their backstory. Hopefully they'll help me care about these characters more than I do. We'll see.
So, yeah, I guess my main problem is there was no stakes. I didn't really, right from the outset with the action sequence, I didn't even know why it mattered of what they were doing.
Why he was doing. What was he doing? And why is it going in there?
The whole episode kind of built on that hype. They didn't make me care about them, but also it's interesting that Falcon is first. It's Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but I think that Bucky's storyline was more interesting in this episode.
Sure. Yeah, it was. I think his storyline is more nuanced, whereas Falcon's going to be more kind of the whole who's going to take up the mantle. Is he going to? Sure, of course he is. But like his journey to that point, where Bucky, it's this whole baggage. It's like what he's been through and how he has to change and what does he do now. And there's a lot more questions there that are interesting to me from a psychology standpoint. So yeah, I agree. So yeah, let's dive into this episode. Let's get some spoilers going.
Sure. And before we get there, be sure to follow at Secondary Heroes on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere you can in social media. You keep up to date with all of our podcasts. Again, we're going to talk about all 6 episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You can go back and listen to us talk about WandaVision or Mandalorian Season 2. And we're going to even be talking about Justice League, hopefully. So there's a lot of content from us to just digest and talk about. And if the world starts opening back up, we might actually have brand new other things to talk about that isn't TV, but who knows?
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Sooner rather than later. We'll see. All right, well, let's dive right in to the episode. We start off with the line from the end of Endgame about, Captain America giving the shield to him and him saying, "Oh, this doesn't feel like it's me," and it was nice. It was a nice little moment. You kind of get like that feeling like, are we at the funeral or are we at somewhere else? Because he's in the suit and tie. But we find out later that he's ready to take the shield, I guess, off to the Smithsonian or wherever he was going to. It was interesting. It was a nice little moment.
I was like, are they doing Cap's funeral? And that, I think,
that's what I thought too. I was like confused.
It would have meant more.
Yeah,
would have done
I don't know
something.
what was going on there.
Some gravitas to the whole season. I don't know.
He finally died as an old man.
Yes. One kind of question I had for you, though. The shield's whole. How is the shield
that was a weird thing, right? We don't know.
Thanos cracked it in half, right? Last we saw.
The only thing I can think of is that they sent it back to Wakanda to get repaired so that it could be put. Like maybe he went back because it was whole when he got it too, right? When Captain gave it to him at the end of Endgame.
Yeah,
So
so
he
did Cap
must
pick up a
have.
different one while he was traveling through time and putting the stones back?
No, my guess is my only guess would be that yeah, he took it to Wakanda and the Wakandans helped him restore it, and they're like, I don't know why you're old, Captain, but okay.
But
Yeah,
the shield that
no
Cap
idea.
has in Infinity War is a Wakanda specific shield that doesn't resemble the
Oh
actual
yeah, you're
shield
right.
at
It's not the
all.
same shield. I'm sure there was something he did back in that timey-wimey thing. Maybe he went back to a specific time and stole it from himself. I have no idea, dude.
He stole it from himself, and now we see that point where Cap uses it's gone.
Right? He like goes in the battle with his shield and it's not there. Like, huh? Dead. Done. Different timeline.
Crazy.
No, I have no idea. That was
It looks good
strange.
though on display at the
Sure.
Smithsonian.
It really did. It's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, I have no idea. There's a lot of I had some questions in this episode that I'm sure they're never going to answer. So it's the way that is, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. All right, then we get the cue card. Then we dive into action.
Right. And so this action kicks off right after. We have this LAF, and it's some, I guess, terrorist organization because it's terrorist time or whatever. And so Falcon is he's like full on, I'm like a superhero, but I don't really have any abilities superhero. I'm pretty much just like, he's pretty much like Don Cheadle's character. He's essentially War Machine, just with wings instead of an Iron Man suit. It's almost identical.
Mm-hmm. No,
And so even with that, he decides to be relatively arrogant when he drops off the back of the plane.
Right.
Right.
He just drops off backwards, of course. Yeah.
And this is where we get to this whole weird fun with physics. This whole action sequence. Like, I don't know what tech those wings do, but I don't think that it flies like a plane.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
But even
it's
so, the
like
flying squirrel outfits for sure do not fly like planes.
No, they don't. It's kind of like with Wonder Woman and how she can like lasso the air or lightning or something and
yes, Wonder Woman.
Herself. It's that thing. It's that.
As absurd as that was, they saw it and they're like, you know what? We should add that to the MCU.
It's fantastic. Yeah, so we get the return of George St. Pierre as his character from whatever that movie was. I don't know. Civil War. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think you're right. So we get him back, but he was an MMA fighter, so you want to see him like throw punches and do a ground game, and they do it all in the air, which was kind of disappointing. I mean, it's cool in the air and all, but as a fighter, I wanted to see him do more. It was cool to see him kind of kick butt a bit, but it was like, all right, would have been nice to see a longer fight scene inside the plane as opposed to flying.
That was the best choreography of the whole intro was that fight scene on the plane.
And then suddenly they're out flying like ridiculously through the canyon. I'm like, all right. I mean, it looked fine. Yeah. It was just like, all right. Well, I'd rather see the hand-to-hand combat inside the plane.
It looked like a Star Wars canyon run. Like an X-wing the Falcon could have flown somewhere out and shot those flying squirrel guys, and you'd be like, okay,
a different bird. Exactly. The only thing I would take away from this that I liked a lot was the scene where he flies through the helicopter and like grabs the guy and then kind of like misses him but turns him over and catches him like a bird of prey kind of thing. I like that. So I'll give them kudos for that scene. That was kind of fun.
I liked that the Falcon doesn't care about killing people. He had
he doesn't.
Qualms about it. He killed multiple people and
he threw that bomb up there and like, nope, all right, done. Well, they're terrorists, so it's okay.
I guess that's a license to kill, right?
Oh, just wait till you watch Justice League. Anyways, that's a spoiler for later. So yeah, he murdered those people. Not the main bad guy. He got out safe and sound, of course.
But I mean, he even does the like Batman, like sends out the rope and he grabs that guy and pulls him out of the plane and just lets him fall to his death.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't like try to parachute him to safety or anything.
And yeah, I was like, all right, here you go. Let me help you with that. Thanks. There you go. Nice. Yeah, I still have no idea what the deal was there. He just got called in. Maybe he was being called in to help out with the situation because has nothing else better to do.
Yeah, because he saves that one guy who's being taken hostage. He has the
Right.
outfit, but I don't know who that guy was.
No idea.
I don't know why Falcon killed all these guys. I don't know why he saved this guy. I don't know what the end game is of all this whole I don't know.
Yep.
I just it was a lot of spinning around, and it was blurred backgrounds, and it was CGI on top of CGI, and once Falcon leaves the plane, you can just see the CGI. All the flying squirrel guys, somehow they have jet engines and they became Iron Man. They all had Iron Man abilities, even though they literally have flying squirrel outfits. Those are pretty much just about coasting.
Yeah.
They go with the wind currents. That's all they are able to do.
Yep.
Who knows?
But there's your action-packed intro.
It was definitely an action-packed intro.
It was fine. Yeah.
And then there was also sequences. How come Falcon didn't get sucked into the wind turbines of the airplane at the very start, where he's like flying right in front of the propellers and stuff?
I don't know. It's a good question, huh?
I thought he was just. I thought there was going to be something where there was going to be like a warning on his heads-up display or something about forces. It didn't matter. He was right next to him.
He's fine. He's fine. It's some kind of weird anti-gravitational thing that Stark built into the suit, probably.
Stark is relevant in this entire episode, but we'll get there later. One other aspect I wanted to mention, though, is so he focuses all on killing these people and the heavy CGI, but where, like, the helicopters came out of nowhere. Who was the helicopters?
Were
they part of LAF as well?
I have no idea. It's a good question. They did come out of nowhere, especially since you can see for miles around you, and there they are.
And it seems like they flew up from below the canyon.
Oh, it's like a below base, a hidden base.
Yeah.
They need to go back to the canyon. That's where they're hiding. That's my guess.
But once this whole action sequence is done and he's outrunning the missiles, literally, I don't know how he outran them. There's no way he has any propulsion.
Stark Tech.
Stark Tech. The entire time I'm watching, I'm like, this is like in Ant-Man, where he goes and sees Falcon, and he fights Falcon at Avengers HQ, and it's not like you're fighting an Avenger. It never felt like, Ant-Man went and found the security guard out front. It's not like he went against Cap or Thor or Iron Man or any relevancy. He goes and finds Falcon. Falcon is essentially Cap's friend. He's not even Cap's sidekick. He's not good enough to be Cap's sidekick. He's Cap's friend. And so this whole action sequence removed me from it being like a scale of Avengers or mattering even on a superhero level.
Mm-hmm.
Have you watched Tick on Amazon?
Oh yeah. I watched the first few episodes. I was more of a fan of the cartoon version back in the day.
But his sidekick guy? Yeah. That's how Falcon feels like. Where he has
he's very much like Arthur.
Suit.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I care about Arthur. There's a reason the show's called Tick and not Arthur.
Yeah. So maybe the show will eventually, and they'll be like, hey, this is ridiculous. You need to stop it with the wings and do something else. I don't know. Maybe they'll give him some extra serum somewhere.
Super soldier serum.
I guess, we found it. There you go, sir. I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea how he's going to be as impactful physically as Captain America was. So we shall see. Maybe he'll just be more of a symbol in general. Like maybe he's just the leader behind the scenes who isn't going into battle all the time.
Yeah. Who knows?
No idea. Yeah.
Because also at the very end, there's that guy who is a Marine and he calls Falcon in, and then he does that weird, awkward celebration after Falcon goes and kills everybody. It's so out of place. He's by himself in the middle of the desert, and they zoom in on. Woo!
It's like the end of the pod race where all the kids are like, "Hey, Annie!" Woo! Oh, it's cute.
That definitely stood out. Anyway, that scene was luckily over, and so now we go to Tunisia, and Falcon's rewiring his little, what's it called? Red Wing?
Red Wing? Yeah, Red Wing.
Yeah. That was awesome. It did the most damage in the whole thing, in the intro sequence. It was great to see.
Maybe it can be Captain America.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind that. An AI version of Captain America running around. Just killing people. He doesn't know who to kill either. He's just killing everybody. Anyway. All right, so we have this scene where we're trying to figure out who this guy is. I still don't know. Does he have a name? Like, did he ever call him a name?
The friend guy? The Marine
Yeah.
guy? Yeah, I don't know what his name is.
Great. That's great. Good job. Marvel. No idea who this guy is, what he does, why he's there, what his name is, but he's enduring because he's like, oh, no. All of his stories.
Yeah, he gets to give us exposition about what's happened over the past 5 years. So WandaVision gave us a little bit of what's going on in the past 5 years, especially in relation to Monica. And so Falcon's been gone this whole time because we know he comes back and he says, on your left. And so he's been gone this whole time. But even though he's been gone for 5 years, he figured out how to rewire Red Wing himself. I don't know how he has the expertise to literally do that on the fly. But anyway, this other no-named guy, he tells us that there's some terrorist groups who rose up and thought the world was better during the blip. And so this kind of sets what's been going on in those 5 years, because also later on, we also have the whole, there's been allies that have been broken apart in terms of the grand scale of countries. And, there's new alliances and existing friendships are all broken down. So that's going to set the stage for a lot of terrorist groups for Falcon and Winter Soldier to perceivably go against.
Yep, that's what my guess was. I mean, it's kind of interesting to think that, if half the world's population was gone, yeah, sure, there's going to be people to take advantage of that. There's less, people to oppose you.
There's a vacuum of power.
Like chaos. Yeah, the chaos people are probably depressed. You could definitely feed off of that, so that would be interesting. It'd be interesting to see that. Like, part of me would rather have, like, a series, and maybe they'll do this eventually, that shows the time period during the blip, like those 5 years and what the chaos was like at some point.
Yeah, because in Endgame, that's a boring part of Endgame where Cap is in his little AA meeting and they talk about their feelings. Like, but to actually show feet on the ground of what's happening in the chaos and all, like, did presidents and leaders and dictators of various countries go missing, and what happens then?
Right. Who's in charge? That kind of stuff. Exactly. Yeah. That'd be fun to see. Well, we don't get that. Instead, we get Exposition Guy and the flag stompers, smashers, crashers.
Yeah. Flag they have an app punchers. Or something that tells you where to go.
That's right. They have the app. Yes. They have the app that helps you.
It has like augmented reality. Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Yep. That was something.
And so now we go to the Smithsonian exhibit, and they're introducing the Cap shield is there, and for some reason Don Cheadle is there out of everybody because we have to tie in to the Marvel Universe.
He's the only one that cares. No one else is like, screw Captain America. Hate that guy.
Yeah, they go through the exhibit, and only Falcon and Rhodes are through the whole exhibit. There's nobody else in this Captain America exhibit.
No one cares about that guy. I'm telling you, it was weird.
Well, this goes into the whole idea, was it broadcast what Cap did? Because in WandaVision, Darcy is aware that literally Wanda killed Vision. Thanos rewinded time, so that never existed, but she still saw it somehow, and then kills Vision again by ripping out the Mind Stone. Did we get to see Cap and Iron Man and Thor go against Thanos on that battlefield, and then all those people come back through the portals? Was that witnessed by anybody?
Can you imagine witnessing that on TV? Oh my god. Blow my mind. Yeah, I don't know.
Because then you would have an appreciation for Cap. They're like, oh, look, Cap, he's holding Mjolnir. He has the power of it the whole time. People would have cared about Cap, right?
Right. But nope, just Rhodes. Only Rhodes cares. No one else does. And a handful of dignitaries who was there at the ceremony. But anyways, yeah, so he shows up and does the whole, you should be Captain America.
And then there's some old white guy who says, you made a good decision, Falcon, by giving up the shield.
Mm-hmm. We'll get into that later, I think.
Yes. But then, luckily, we're done with Falcon for a while. And so now we zoom in on Bucky. And he's in full Winter Soldier outfit. And you're like, this is the first time we've seen him on this show. And from all the ads, he's had, the close-cut hair, and he's not wearing his little Winter Soldier mask and all that stuff. And so he's doing his Winter Soldier stuff. He's killing a bunch of people. He's being a badass. And then he even kills one random guy who's just trying to get into his hotel room.
Poor guy. He's like, I was just trying to go away.
Yeah, wrong place, wrong time for that guy.
yeah, at first I'm like, oh wow, he's gonna wear his like old outfit in the show. That's kind of interesting.
I
Okay.
thought it was cool.
I
Because
did
he
too.
has
I
the
was like, all
mask, he's
right,
ready
let's
for
do
the
it.
pandemic and everything.
Let's go, buddy. And then nope, it's just a dream.
It was just
Or
a
a flashback
dream.
Yeah. No, as soon as he said Hell Hydra, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what this is. And then we get
so
the
now,
fun therapist scene.
Yeah, so the therapist scene was the best comedy of the whole episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good sequence.
I'd say so. Kind of reminded me, like, made me miss watching The Sopranos. Like, I'm like, maybe I
Yes.
should go rewatch The Sopranos because, like, I missed
definitely
those.
had
Scenes.
that vibe.
It wasn't like your traditional therapist office type, scene,
Right.
which was kind of fun. Because she was obviously someone who has been in the military and there's combat and can talk tough to him.
Mhm.
It was kind of fun to see. So yeah, I like the banter between them.
Yeah, they had a good rapport, and we find out that he's been pardoned, and that they all have this three rules, to be incognito, and so we get to see him, what he did yesterday, essentially. So we got the nightmare of what he was doing of Winter Soldier, and then we got to see what he was doing yesterday as Bucky Barnes, as kind of the terms of his pardon.
Yep, with the whole creepy grin and everything.
Yes.
He has that down pat.
And then he's comes to the point that he's gone from one fight, or she says, you've gone from one fight to another for the past 90 years, and now you're free. And so he asked to do what? And that's the crux of Bucky in this episode.
Of course. And then this is answered. I mean, this is asked a lot in a lot of different kind of dramas and action movies. Like the people who are constantly doing something their whole life, and then what? Now you're retired or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, what do you do with yourself? Like, you've been doing the same thing every day your whole life, and this guy has had multiple lifetimes of it to do it. Yeah, that's an interesting question for him. Does he continue to be a hero? Does he live a civilian life? What does that look like to him? So we hopefully get to see that. And we see some of that during this episode, which is kind of fun. Right. I always like a fish out of water type tale. I know a lot of people don't, but that's my thing.
Fish out of water works unless it's done over and over again, like Steve Trevor doing it again.
True.
But so then we transition to the bar. And so this is where Bucky is talking to the old guy who turns out to be his wingman. First, he gets him in the alley where he's telling the one guy, don't throw your trash in my trash. And he's like, let's cool off. We'll go to the bar. And so this is where the old guy asks the bartender on Bucky's behalf if he wants to go on a date.
That's smooth.
Yes, that's smooth. Old guy wingman.
Heck yeah, man. Everyone needs an old man wingman in their life. That was great. It worked.
And then it did work. So he has a date set up for tonight. But before that, all of a sudden, the old guy has to come up with his tragic backstory. All of a sudden, the little machi balls remind him of his son who was killed. And Bucky has that, I know how he was killed.
It's like, yeah, I know. Crap, it was me. Like, as poignant as that scene was, it was just weird that, like, it was like a weird pivot for him.
It was so rushed. All of a sudden, he's like,
rushed. I think that's what it was.
I'm happy that I just set you on a date. We're, having fun. I'm being your wingman. Oh, by the way, my sad backstory, my son was killed. It's like, wait, that doesn't just come up in conversation.
No, like, I think if I were to have written that scene, I would have done it more like another memory, like maybe a happy memory of his son. Like, hey, oh man, my son loved doing whatever, playing board games or I miss him or whatever. Not even making it sad. And not have it be sad until the date. And then the date, she brings up that it's sad. Like, oh, well, he lost his son and never knew what happened. That would have been a different way to approach that. So I agree. It was rushed and kind of out of place, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And the reveal would have been better, I think.
Yeah, they should have waited longer on the reveal.
Yeah. But other than that, I like that scene. It was cute, at least.
Yeah. No, Bucky scenes are definitely better, but now we transition back to Falcon, and so this tries to set up his extended family, or at least his place in the world. He goes down to Louisiana. He goes and talks to his sister. He has his parents' boats, or singular, and he's been gone for the past 5 years, but she hasn't. She's trying to keep, afloat. She has 2 kids, and the boat
literally and figuratively,
is just, out of commission. It's not worth the junk that it's costs, and she wants to finally sell it. And of course he comes back right when she was about to get to sell it, and he's like, no, you can't sell it because It's our family legacy, this old broken down boat.
Yep. Just gotta let the boat go, man.
Yeah.
Just gotta let it go. I do like that the kids call him Uncle Sam. At least he has that kind of, Americana tie. I was like, Uncle Sam, I get what you're doing. Okay.
I also
don't really
like
care
that
about the whole boat.
this Sam parked his truck right in the harbor. Like, he literally acted like he was the only person who existed. There's no boats allowed in that whole, or there's no trucks allowed in that whole harbor, and he's just, boom, I'm parking right in the middle. I don't care about anybody because I'm Sam Wilson.
He is an adventure. Yeah, he can do whatever he wants.
Yes.
Whatever he wants, man. Free pass. Free pass for life. So all right, they have a little talk.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there. They're talking about family.
I mean, my notes go on to, I've been here 5 years. I want to sell a boat. And then I already transitioned to the next scene. That's all I got. Yep. That scene was just like obligation to Falcon is more than just Falcon.
Right. Oh, as a family. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
He feeds homeless people. Okay, cool.
The sister we never knew he had, he does.
Right? He does have. It turns out after all. All right.
So anyway, we're back to Bucky. He's on the date.
Okay. The fun date.
Yes. The fun date where they play Battleship.
Yep.
And in this sequence of playing Battleship, it's really fun because the first time she asked to target one of his things, he only has one ship on his board. Like, he is literally not playing correctly. You need 5 ships placed. He only has 1, so she can only hit so many different things. And then the best part is, I have a sister, F4. And it sounded like he said, I have 4. But he literally said the target F4 on the thing. I thought he was saying I have 4 sisters because he says I have a sister F4.
That's
and
what I thought he was saying too. Yeah,
I had to rewind.
I had the same thing. I was like, "What did you say?" And then he said, "Oh yeah, it's a hit." I'm like, "What?
Why didn't they pick something that didn't sound like I have 4? Why wouldn't you pick like J8 or something?"
I don't know. That was weird. Anyways, yeah.
And then she doesn't have a turn, and he goes again.
I didn't notice.
And he calls D5. So they couldn't even sequence Battleship correctly. Little things, man. Little things. Yep. But anyway, this is where he has the fun joke that he says that he's 106 years old, and she just laughs.
Yeah, she's like, "No, you're not." She's Why you wear gloves all the time?
More circulation.
I would have said because I'm Luke Skywalker. That would have been a great line. That would have said all the fans outstanding. Oh, the fans are like, "Oh my god, Star Wars crossover! It's happening!"
It would have been so much better if he showed up in Mandalorian season 2. Come on.
Oh, anyways, yeah, it would have, but no.
No.
Did not. Okay, so no, that happened, and she talked about. This is where she came around the bar and like sat next to him, and they started talking about, how his neighbor was a widower and stuff.
There's no, there's a word for if your kids. There's no word for if your kid passes away.
Yeah, and he says, "All right, I'm out of here. You gotta poop."
Yep. And also, he gets to stare at the gold lucky cat, and he tries to stop its hand.
Stop it! So you can't stop that. I enjoyed that moment.
Yes, but yeah, I love how right in the middle of the date he just bails because the son's death is.
Didn't say anything.
How is the neighbor even come up and I don't know.
I don't know either. Maybe because like she knew that he was the woman, and she was trying to make a connection with him. Like, "Oh, you're just a sweet guy to hang out with that older guy," kind of thing. That was my takeaway. Like, maybe she was just trying to, like, I don't know, hit on him that way. Good. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's my only guess.
There wasn't that much to talk about when you're you're 106 years old and she's like 20 something.
I remember when I blew that guy away in the field of Wakanda. That was fantastic. Oh wait, what were we talking about? Sorry. Yeah.
Did you see Infinity War where I turned to dust?
See Infinity War? It came out on DVD. It's a documentary series on PBS.
Returned to dust.
It's like a 9-part miniseries. Oh, it's fantastic. Really should watch it. Narrated by I don't know. I couldn't think of a name. Anyways, so he nopes out of there.
He does, and then he goes back and he talks to his neighbor, and he pretty much
Figures
doesn't
it out.
resolve anything with that.
No, he just like looks at the picture and just, yep, that really is the guy I killed. Confirmed. Okay. And he doesn't make amends because obviously it's probably too hard for him to say anything, and gives them money instead for the dinner or lunch.
So, the lunch that he said he was going to cover, and that was the reason they were going after he talks him down from being angry about the trash. Yeah. So why is he giving it? He should have paid in the first place. There's no.
Is that... All right. Where's the continuity? Where's the script continuity supervisor on this show? I need to IMBD that person and say, what's going on here? Anyway.
So now we go back to Falcon, and Falcon has this weird family moment in the kitchen before their appointment where there's no purpose at all for this scene, and they're just like, hey, we're packaging food, I guess, and kids don't play video games, and I don't know.
I literally forgot this scene happened. Yeah,
I just wrote a weird family scene before appointments.
And like, why would you not want the kids to play video games? I don't understand that. And then something about being late, and it's better to be early than late, or late than early.
You're either late or early. There's no being on time.
There you go. Yes. Maybe that'll mean something later.
It was something that the dad said, and
it's gonna probably come into play later. That's like I no idea why they would have had this scene otherwise. So I'm guessing it must. It will. I bet you it will in some way to do with his sister. He'll probably like not be on time to save his sister or something, and then has to take care of the kids. I'm going dark. Wow. Sorry, I don't know. That's gonna happen. I don't know why.
I want that to happen now.
Right? Sorry. I need to stop implanting ideas into people's heads like I did with one.
I know.
Okay.
Jeez. Alex would like that show if he never talked to you.
Dang it.
Oh, well. So now we go back to Falcon's friend, and he's using the app for that meeting. They're in like somewhere in Europe or something. And this guy jumps out of the second story with like 2 bundles of cash and does a superhero landing. And we're like, whoa, obviously, who's this guy?
Obviously, he's not a regular person. So, yeah. He's a big baddie, that's for sure.
Yes, and so this guy, he kicks somebody across the entire street into like a telephone pole on the fly. And then Falcon's friend gets, like, he puts his gun to him and he's like, freeze or whatever. And the dude just grabs the gun from it and like throws it away or whatever. And then kicks him in the face. And somehow the guy doesn't die. We've seen, I mean, as much force as this guy has, he probably would have crushed his skull with that stomp.
Unless he meant to keep him alive.
Yeah. But who is this guy? Who knows?
It's probably Mephisto.
It might be Mephisto.
I don't know. Well, they kept saying, like, there was that thing where he said, like, oh, do you think he's, and he didn't say the word. I'm like super powered? Or did you want to say mutants? Like, what word are you trying to tease here that you don't want to say? That was kind of weird.
Don't talk about the M word. It's not mutants or Mephisto. It's no M's, okay? I'm sure he's probably just some Hydra Winter Soldier type.
You never know. That was my first guess. Hydra type thing, like a super soldier. But why wouldn't he just say that? I don't know. There's some reason why he wasn't saying whatever the word was he wanted to call that guy. So, guess we'll have to wait and see.
Maybe he's a soup terrorist like in The Boys, and we need all our heroes.
It's true. They are pretty bad. Yeah. All right, so he gets the intel on this group, and then he gets interrupted. Sorry, by his sister, I believe, because there's something on the news.
Yeah.
I think that's what happens next.
Yeah, the news tells us... I don't know. I skipped over it completely. I just have them already at the bank. There's something that happens on the news, right?
Oh, there is a bank. No, there isn't. I'm sorry. That's the end of the episode. I totally forgot about the whole bank scene.
Oh, so yeah. Okay.
Get a loan.
So they go in to get a loan because when I watch a Marvel property, I want to see getting loans. That's probably the top of my list. Mm-hmm. And so we go into the bank, and this kind of emphasizes. We've always seen Tony, and Tony is like, a billionaire. So money doesn't mean anything at all. We've never really... Cap doesn't concern himself with money and Thor obviously has no use for money. Money's never been a part of the MCU pretty much on screen. And so this shows Falcon's kind of side of things where don't you have money from Stark? You literally don't have any, financial history. You have no employment history. Do you get paid for being an Avenger? And he says we pretty much just get paid through goodwill.
Right. Like, okay.
Yeah, it was really interesting because, like, in the WandaVision comic series, they said that they made like $200,000 a week or something. Right. And so I thought that's where they might hint at, but they didn't go with that at all. They went good faith payments pretty much. And also, since I'm trying to get a home loan right now, and he talked about no income over the past 5 years, and he's like, literally, I was blipped. I haven't been around for the past one. It's like, literally, this is what my paper says. You don't have any employment history. You can't argue with that. It doesn't matter if you could say anything else.
Can't argue with it. You're right. I wasn't here. I literally did not exist. So you were correct,
and then he brings up like a version of like, veteran home loans or whatever, because, Falcon was in the Marines or whatever. And loans have tightened up since then because a few billion people just came back. What interest rates and what did the financial market do when half of the world's population disappeared?
Right? No
The housing
idea.
market there must have been open houses. The people who live there disappeared. Who's selling it? That house has to be foreclosed, John, right? Get them cheap.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah.
Imagine you came back and some other people are living in your house.
Like eating your stuff and like sitting in
like, we've lived here for 5 years. What are you talking about?
Sir, that's my toothbrush. What are you doing? You should have replaced the toothbrush by now. It's been 5 years. What are you doing? No, obviously, I think this whole scene was not only meant to be interesting to us as fans to know what's happened in the last 5 years, but also to have like that whole racial undertone, like, you people kind of thing. I do think they are setting up the whole racial tie to him being black and as Captain America, and obviously they don't want that to be the case.
That's even very at the end.
Yeah, that's at the very end. But I think this is kind of one of those instances as well, like, you people, and I think his sister even said that back to him, like, what do you mean by us? Like, what do you mean by that? Superheroes or something else? So it'd be interesting to see where that goes with this show too.
And then the loan officer, the banker guy, he wanted to take selfies with him. He knows who he is, and there's nothing he can do to get him a loan. Like when Falcon says we work on, just like I thought he wanted to make a deal with him when he says, oh, just people help us out. Wink, wink.
Like goodwill, literally. Hello, buddy. You're not getting the hints I'm dropping. Yeah,
but
he didn't want to do
it. It brings up the kind of so why didn't he want to do it? Is it the racial idea? Like if if it was Steve Rogers coming for a loan, does he get the loan without any employment history?
That's the only thing that would make sense to me at this point. Yes.
Yeah. But also it brings up the Stark money thing. And so do you have money from Stark? Where is Stark's money? Like Pepper has control of it, right?
Yeah, Pepper's just sitting out there like, I guess, living large.
Yeah, and so again, if his Red Wing and his Falcon outfit is tied to Stark Tech because they reference that it is, how come we can't tie into more of what Stark has? And like,
yeah, exactly.
Who is funneling the Avengers right now? Because Pepper hates the whole thing that Tony ever did with superhero stuff, and
the government,
Tony died too. So obviously she hates it even more.
She hates it. The government wasn't too keen on it.
Yeah.
So no idea. It's a good point. Hopefully they will explore that. Yeah. Hopefully they'll explore that later.
So then they leave the bank, and there's no one on the streets. There's no one driving around at all for some unknown reason. They walk right through the middle of the street, and there's multiple people.
I saw that. That was weird. Okay. It was just me. Are you not going to look left and right? What are you doing? I know it's a movie set and all, but oh my gosh.
And so this is the point where his sister literally rips him apart. She rips him apart for about 2 minutes straight. after Daddy died, you went to the Air Force. You weren't there. You haven't been there. I've been raising kids. You suck. You don't know anything. The boat sucks. You have no basis on reality." And he has no response at all. Like the writers literally just wanted to rip Falcon and tear him down without him saying one word, and then the scene ends. It was so weird. She was just like a voice to criticize him. Like she wasn't even a sister. It was just like, we need to bring Falcon down as far as possible so he can rise by the 6th episode.
That's what it is. That's what this episode was. That's why they got that big action scene out of the way at the very beginning. It's like, oh, people are expecting action. Let's just throw in some random action scene that doesn't make any sense and has nothing to do with anything.
It's like a video game where they drop you in with full power, and then
they take away all your stuff.
And then you start way at the bottom.
You got to figure out how to get that tuck and roll maneuver. Not gonna have that yet. Slingshot? Nope. It's the power you get later by persevering and solving those puzzles. That's a great analogy. Okay.
And that now we get to the point where he's trying to fix the boat, and so.
Oh my God!
Again, I brought up the idea that Falcon can fix the Red Wing, that advanced AI system that can fly around and kill people. He can't fix this old broken down boat. You can't give me... So if Falcon doesn't know how to fix the Red Wing, that's fine. But you can't let him be able to fix advanced tech and not be able to fit an old broken down boat.
Yeah.
You got to choose, writers.
Yep.
And so this is when the news story comes on that Prague mentioned. And so the sister calls him in, and then the old white guy who thanked Sam for the shield, introduces a new Captain America. And the new Captain America is a white guy.
Yep.
I don't know who he is, but I know he's not Sam.
The only thing I know is that the actor who plays him is Kurt Russell's son. That's all I know.
Who's also in that goofy episode of he did look super goofy, but he's in that episode of Black Mirror.
Oh yeah. Good call.
He's Wyatt Russell.
Yeah, but it's so funny because his features make him look silly in that outfit, which is I think on purpose. Yeah, it's meant to be kind of comical. I'm like, oh, who's this guy in the suit? That's not the right guy. We want him in the suit. We want Falcon in the suit. Kind of thing. That's what they want.
It's really interesting. So this old guy, literally, Sam gives him the shield, and he says, "You made a good decision." And the shield didn't go in the museum. It wasn't to make a good decision so everyone could partake about it. It was so he could give it to someone who isn't you. I literally want the shield so I can give it to somebody else.
Yeah. He straight up was like, I'm being racist and not even hiding my cards right now.
Yes.
So there you go. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he responds to that. Will he respond with force? I don't know. I don't know what's going to go on with these Flag Smashers. I don't know what they're going to factor into all this.
And then when are Falcon and Bucky going to team up? Like, I thought the reason this show existed is because Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan had good rapport on screen. If they're doing two separate storylines, that's not good rapport on screen.
No, I'm pretty sure they'll
the new Cap is the one that gets them together, because I know that Bucky's been ignoring Sam's messages.
Right. Yeah, that's my guess. My guess is he's seeing that and going, wait a second, I thought that Sam was going to be the new captain. What's going on here? Let me check this out.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't watch the previews, so I don't know what's happening.
I don't either. It's so fun.
Exactly. I don't know what's going to happen. More hijinks will ensue.
It's also good that, like, Captain America, to be honest, when we first see him in the first Avenger, he's nothing more than war propaganda. He's not out there with his shield knocking Hitler in the face or whatever. He's literally goes on stage and he inspires the troops. And that's so when this old guy, he says, we need a beacon for the country. He just needs somebody playing Captain America.
That's all he needs. Exactly. He doesn't want you out there actually going into battle. No, he just wants you to represent the people.
Yes.
That's all.
And what better way to represent America?
Exactly. I think that's what that's getting at.
Yes.
Propaganda. So there you have it. There's the episode.
That's episode 1. I just didn't care at all once it ended. That was my takeaway. I was like, that they talked a lot and they tried to make me care about Falcon's other life, or even Falcon. I still don't care about Falcon. Like the problem with Bucky, we've got quite a bit of backstory from, and
Right.
over the movies and the MCU movies. But Falcon, he kind of shows up, and then he's just tagged along with Cap ever since. We don't know anything more about him.
He's just Cap's familiar that flies around.
Yeah, they have more to deal with to create his storyline, but his storyline isn't as interesting as Bucky's storyline, and that makes it tough when we already know about Bucky.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
We'll see. I tried to hype myself up for this episode, but I think you kind of tore me back down to where I was when I finished the episode the first time. I was like, I tried to rewatch it a second time, and I'm like, I kind of enjoy some of the stuff. Yeah, there's stuff to enjoy. It's just, I don't know. It's not quite my thing for the MCU.
I just think it's very straightforward.
Yeah.
Because like WandaVision's like, oh, this could be this could be that. It turned out to be straightforward once you watch the whole thing, but it could be anything. This show is straightforward, and that's what it can be.
Yeah. This is what it is. So
yeah,
here's
literally
to Loki, I guess. I guess I'm looking forward to Loki.
I'm intrigued by Loki.
Yeah.
The shield just to take it back at the end of episode 6. I don't need 6 episodes to do that for me.
That's what's gonna happen, yeah.
Also, one interesting note I had at the end was in the end credits, Sebastian Stan came before Anthony Mackie, and it kind of fit with the idea that they didn't want Sam as Captain America. I mean, it's called Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's not called Winter Soldier and Falcon.
No. I don't know.
Marvel, I don't know what you're doing there.
I don't know what's going on with that either. The only thing I can think of is, I think your agent is the one who helps like negotiate for that kind of stuff. So it's probably just that. I don't know. We'll see what happens with the show.
It didn't look the best.
I know
what they're doing with like allegories on the show to present times, to do that right at the end of the episode with all the things about representation on film. I thought it was not a good look.
Interesting. I didn't see it for the credits. I didn't notice that. So that is telling. That's interesting. Okay.
Yep.
Marvel.
So that's Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We got 5 more of these. I guess
or we could just do Leprechaun. The Leprechaun series.
The Leprechaun series instead.
I don't know. I don't know what's worse. Let's just stick with Falcon. That's fine.
Let's hope it gets better.
It probably will.
I need Falcon and Bucky on screen together. Get that to me as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think next episode it'll happen.
I don't need Falcon's sister ripping him apart anymore. I got it.
Yeah, we get it. I agree. Cool. I think that's all I get.
Yeah. So, everyone, stay tuned as we talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier for this whole season. Before then, we're going to talk about Justice League, and I don't know how long that episode's going to be.
God help us all.
Until then, be sure to follow at Secondary Heroes everywhere. And we hope you enjoyed, and we'll talk to you next time.
Yeah, Prog out.